So Drake Bell was sentenced on 2 years probation in child endangerment court. Child endangerment. Oh my God. Let's just start this over. I'm going to fucking blow my brains out. All right. Drake Bell sentenced on 2 years probation in child endangerment case as victim speaks out. That's very interesting. The victim finally speaks out. He's 35. I believe when he was 30, he was talking to a 14-year-old. That person is now 19. But we don't really know. This is one of the things that has really been getting me, because we talked about this the other day, but they were not very precise about what was happening. Most of the time when these types of child issues happen, it's usually some kind of like you really in predatory engagement. However, my understanding was that it was drug related. At like a concert, he gave her drugs or something, which is still disgusting and gross, but of course not as bad as actually hurting, predatorizing a young person. Drake Bell has been sentenced to 2 years probation after pleading guilty to criminal charges involving a minor. The actor, born Jared Bell, pleaded guilty on June 23rd to attempted child endangering of a child, a fourth-degree felony, and a misdemeanor charge of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. I believe that was the drugs. During a virtual appearance at a Cleveland court on Monday, the 35-year-old was sentenced to 2 years probation and 200 hours of community service. He also prohibited from contacting the victim. Okay, so he just has to... He's on probation for what? Giving kids drugs? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is the probation for? 200 hours of community service. Okay. During the hearing, Bell's victim, now 19, spoke publicly for the first time and read a statement which is called the Drake and Josh album, the epitome of evil. She accused Bell of grooming her from age 12 before allegedly sexually abusing her when she was 15. That's fucked up. I chose to write the statement because I want justice to be served more than anything else, she began over Zoom. The only time that the defendant has appeared in court in person was on June 3rd for his arraignment, which was before the media found out about the case. He has appeared in court today over Zoom instead of appearing in person. This doesn't surprise me. It shows me what a coward he is, but I'm not a coward. Okay, all right. She detailed the pain Bell allegedly caused her, which is, she said, resulted in panic attacks and nightmares. She also said her parents have spent more than $7,000 to go to therapy. He was calculating. He preyed on me sexually and sexually abused me, she said, alleging that he sent her photos of genitalia. He is a monster and a danger to children. Now, what I find interesting here, and like, listen, this is a really tough situation because it's obviously we want to believe like the victims of assault and grooming and child predatory behavior. The problem is that like we need evidence, and the reason is because I am somebody who. Calling somebody pedophile is a big deal. There's a lot of people on TikTok and other social media that just think that they like to just say it because they're fucking stupid. But when you just call somebody a pedophile if they're not one, it really diminishes what it means to be one, especially a child molester. There's a difference. There's a difference between a pedophile and a child molester. Pedophiles are attracted to children. Nobody wants to be attracted to children, but acting on it and harming a child is like probably the worst thing you could ever do. Right up there with rape in general. So these are types of child molesters or people that deserve to go onto an island. Yeah, we'll say it like that. So we need to be careful when we do these things because if you label somebody that to me is labeling them as somebody who needs to, no longer. Somebody who needs to go to an island. I don't want to be too suggestive here. That's like the worst thing you could do. And so my thing is if this happened, and it may have, we kind of need the pictures. And it's hard to believe that those pictures don't exist if this situation did happen. Anyway, she concluded, Jared Drake Bell is a pedophile, and that's his legacy. Bell's attorney, Ian Friedman, said during the hearing that his client had accepted responsibility in the case. By the way, the case had nothing to do with child predatory behavior. Or rather, nothing to do with sexually explicit behavior. Via his plea, however, Friedman disputed the victim's claims that she and Bell had exchanged explicit photos, claiming there was no such evidence. Bell issued his own brief statement to the judge before receiving the official sentencing. I accept this plea because my conduct was wrong, he said. I'm sorry that the victim was harmed in any way, but obviously not my intention. I have taken this matter very, very seriously, and again, I just want to apologize to her and anyone else who may have been affected by my actions. I don't know who else would have been affected by your actions. What else did he do? The judge declared that Bell did take advantage of the victim as she didn't have the emotional or mental maturity to properly engage in their situation. I wish they would be more explicit about what their situation was. Your position and celebrity status enabled you to nurture this relationship, the judge said, especially with somebody who's a fucking child. It's not even about their celebrity status. It's about positions of power. So just in general, you're encouraged to believe that adults are in positions of power. So you have somebody who's 14 and somebody who is 30. So not only are they an adult, but then they're also a celebrity. But this could have been like an uncle, you know, positions of power. But then also you have like a sexual factor, potentially, that this girl, even if he didn't do anything sexual to her, she might have been pressured into doing whatever they did. I don't know what it is. It could have just been drug usage because he was this big time celebrity, position of power individual she didn't want to disappoint. Nurture this relationship. You were able to gain access to a child, and you were able to gain the trust of a child. So it's a two-edged sword. Your position. I hope you truly are remorseful. I don't know if you are. Tyler Sinclair, the public information officer from the Cuyahoga Court County Prosecutor's Office, told People on Monday that the Cleveland Police Department and the office did an extensive investigation into the matter. Numerous factors, including strength of evidence, were weighed during our plea discussion with the defense counsel. Sinclair continued. The victim was consulted throughout this process and approved the final outcome. In a statement issued by the sentencing, Bell's attorney said, "Today's plea and sentence reflect the conduct of which Mr. Bell did accept responsibility. The alleged victim's allegations that went beyond that which all parties agreed not only lacking supporting evidence, but are contradicted by the facts learned through the extensive investigation." As the court made clear, this plea was never about sexual misconduct or sexual relations with any person, let alone a minor. Sexual registration was not imposed on Mr. Bell, did not plead guilty to any such offense. Drake and his family are relieved to have this matter behind them. He looks forward to once again performing for all supportive fans around the world. I wonder what that is. Well, I feel like, how could you like generate the trust of people if you're not even being expressive or explicit about what the bad thing he did was? Like, it's like, oh, I sold drugs to a kid. Okay, I guess people can move on from that. But, like, is that it? Is there more? I don't understand. Related Drake Bell reveals he's married. Okay. Local NBC affiliate KXAN previously reported that the incident occurred on December 1st, 2017. Let's see, so 2017. Okay. The same day, Bell was scheduled to perform at a venue in Cleveland. The incident involved Bell engaging in an inappropriate chat with a 15-year-old victim that was at times sexual in nature. Wait a minute. Though he initially pleaded not guilty to the charges following his arrest, Bell later agreed to a plea deal and said that he was guilty of both charges. His attorney told People at the time, all the questions about this case will be answered in sentencing. Okay, wait, so this kind of suggests that there was a sexual aspect to this. Because they said the original reporting is that there was an inappropriate chat. It was often sexual in nature. So so I thought it was a drug thing, and maybe there was drugs involved, but now this kind of seems more like he was talking to this girl long term. I don't see any reason for any adult to ever have a conversation with a child, unless they're family, of course, in general. Why would a 30-year-old star, famous person have, what would you have in common with a fucking 14-year-old? I don't understand. Okay, so now, I mean, we can't prove anything, but this seems really gross. So if they were just having a long-term conversation, there's literally, this is completely inappropriate. And it is child predatory. And it could be, along the lines of grooming. Hey, what the fuck? Less than a week later, Drinking Josh Allen revealed on Twitter that he is married and has a child. I don't care if you have it. Just because you have a child doesn't mean that you can't be a pedophile. In a June 29 statement written in Spanish, Bell, who performs under the name Drake Campagna, I didn't know that, okay, wrote, "In response to various rumors that are incorrect, I have been married for almost 3 years, and we are blessed to be partners of a wonderful son. I don't give a shit if you have a son. It doesn't mean that you can't be a fucking scumbag." Yeah, it came when he went to Disney. Who gives a shit? This is still weird. Bell's current legal drama comes almost a year after his ex-girlfriend, Melissa Langfeld, accused him of physical and verbal abuse. He denied the allegations. Okay, interesting. Well, I honestly do think that there's a little bit more going on underneath, but we don't have the proof, so I really can't. I don't want to weigh in on it in a way. Hey everyone, if you liked that video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow my Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and TikTok. All links are in the description. Also, check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me even more than you already do. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you all.